Hello everybody and welcome to another armor showcase. So in this replay, I'm not really going to show you how to play and get 10,000 damage as a heavy tank on Insk. You see those games where people get this insane amount of damage and it's on the same couple of maps with the same couple of tanks. Like if it's a heavy tank, you'll see that on I can't remember the map name right now, but Prokhorovka is always a good map for light tanks, blah, blah, blah. The point of this replay is to show you how to make a difference in a game. So, what I'm talking about is, when you do damage, you're doing good things for the team, but that's not the only way to positively influence the outcome of the battle. In this replay, I am a top-tier heavy, so it is my job to get in their face, bounce shots, take shots, do damage, and as a fast heavy, the IS-3-2 is quite quick, as you can see. I got into position more than any of my other heavy tank counterparts. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this corner. Now, this is the furthest west that the enemy can advance and come at us. They can you can't see my cursor, but just to the left of my position on the mini-map here, you'll see a little alcove. In order to get there, they have to pass through this strait. Now, the rest of my team is in the center, and we even have a Type 57 on the flank there. When I'm spawning on the other side, I really love to go where that Type 57 is because you can get shots on me where I am right now. So it's a great position. A lot of people go mid. If you noticed early in the video, I was pinging that part of the map so that my team would pay attention to it, because 4 times out of 5 when I'm on the other side and I take that position where the Type 57 is, I go unopposed. They are caught completely by surprise when I show up there. So I am sitting on the corner, kind of waiting for my team to get in position, and I see that the enemy team is being hesitant. The reason I took that first position was if there was a rush, like if they Zerg rushed us, that I wouldn't be caught up. I would have enough distance between me and them to kind of cut them down, track them, get my team involved, get their attention, etc. Now that I know that we're not going to get rushed because all of our team is in position and the enemy team is in position and no one showed up on my flank, it just so happens that nobody showed up on the Type 57's flank. But if someone had, that would not have influenced this move. I need to get closer. So I have determined that we're not going to get rushed, that it's safe for me to go forward, and I'm going to take a hit right here, I think. Yes. So I want you to get the idea of losing HP is bad out of your head. It's not the right mindset to have. So here I'm effectively side-scraping. The Type 4 Heavy shot AP at me, but my tracks, this is a very well-armored tank. I'm taking risks in a vehicle that I believe will protect me and enable me to take these risks without being annihilated like a goober. So I am just continuing to side scrape. I found an opening and I have drawn first blood on this flank. Before I got involved, there was absolutely no shooting going on. The enemy's team and my team were just kind of sitting there. I got lucky right there, and then the Type 4 slaps me. But that might be the last damage I take this game, and my team ends up winning it pretty handily here. But what I wanted to show you was the strategic approach to this game that has allowed us, because now we're around our enemy. Most teams will sit in their respective little cubbies. If you wind the tape back a little bit, you'll see that my team was in their little center of buildings, and the enemy team was in theirs, and there weren't a lot of scouts. There was just me and that Type 57. If the enemy had tanks on their flank, this would have gone very differently. We'd probably still be side-scraping on that first corner until we killed whoever we came against. The flanks, people don't often come to. It's the center, and sometimes it's not the center. It depends on the map, but there is a meta spot that everybody goes to at the beginning of the game, and if you can learn how to predict that and exploit that, you can win more games. And I'm not even going to come out in front of this guy and give him the pleasure of shooting me. I'm going to let my friend take care of him. And we didn't win the medium flank outright, but I'm a little bit of bad manners here. I hate that tank. I think it's a terrible tank. But basically the rest of this game is mop up. We did not take very much damage in comparison to the enemy. So it's just going to be a rout. But the game is not over. So I noticed that where I just pinged on the map to the very south, there is a hole in our front line. A tank theoretically could make it, a fast tank with a lot of DPM could make it past us and shoot us in the sides and the rear. You know, find cover in those buildings that we just passed and stop our advance. If they stop our advance and our heavies start getting spotted by the tank destroyers, medium tanks, and heavy tanks that are in the forest right now, we would just get picked apart as long as they can keep spotting us. So this game is pretty much in the bag at this point, but I fell back into this position to make sure that our flank was covered as we advanced, because if your flank gets exposed, even when you have the edge in a battle, that is where you throw won games. Like, you've already won the game and you just throw it. If you play chess, you'll know that there's a difference between being a good player and being a closer. You can be a good player and you can get into an advantageous position, but if you can't bring it home and win the game, it doesn't matter. So this is just a little bit of tactics on how to be a better closer. Also an opener, because we didn't just sit back and snipe this game. We took a defensive position in the beginning to avoid being rushed. We advanced when we saw our flank was uncontested, and we got into a position that we were fit for, side scraping, and distracted our team and started doing damage. And then the second half, I just filled a hole in our front line to make sure we didn't get flanked, and we crushed it. So that was game number 1. Alright, so in this game, different tanks, same strategy. As you can see, similar to Insk, on the left-hand side where the heavies usually go, there are 2 cubbies, like 2 boxes, defensive positions for our tanks to get into. And there are flanks on either side. Very similar in layout to Insk, and I am going to do the exact same thing that I did last game. I am going to take the outer extremity of the flank and sit on it. I am not a top tier heavy. I'm a tier 9 in a tier 10 game, but I am still a stocky boy. The E75 is a very heavily armored tank. It's a very good tank. You just have to know how to play it. And one of the ways you can play this thing is it's great at side scraping as long as you can keep your angle smaller. You don't want to angle it at 45 degrees. You want to angle it at about 30 degrees. And my team has got great energy off the start. I mean, we're talking in the chat. We're having fun. There's no light tanks to take to get early vision, so we need to play aggressively if we want to win, because otherwise this is going to be a long, boring game and nobody's going to have fun. And then we might end up losing anyway. So as you can see, I'm doing what I said I was doing, which is just taking the far extremity of the flank. And I do a little bit of a misplay here. I shouldn't have come all the way around the corner all in one go, but it ends up working out because as I push up, I realize, you know, I'm still pretty far away. You know, I might take a shot from a heavy posted up on that corner, but luckily nobody is here. So the only mistake so far is that I pushed a little early. It might have done me a service to wait maybe 30 seconds, 45 seconds to a minute longer. So here you can see I'm doing that 30 degree side scraping. I realized that ledge right there is going to shut off my vision. So I'm really being aggressive because I haven't come across anything yet. Usually you can take a shot and you'll know somebody's there, but boom. Okay, so I see my first enemy, and I get a shot into his plate, and I guess I just got lucky here. He could have easily pinned my side armor, but instead he takes my track off. I save my repair kit because I know I'm going to need it later. And then I get some help. So this AMX-50B is the perfect tank to do exactly what he's doing because it's heavy, doesn't have great armor, it has a good gun that can take out isolated tanks. And, you know, I pay for it. Sometimes getting into these positions, you got to pay for it in health. I got lucky with the Tiger Mouse there, probably because I turned my turret towards the way I would expect fire as I was transitioning to give me a little bit less area for them to penetrate because this is a big old boy. But here, now I'm just doing my bread and butter. I'm doing the same thing I did the first time. I get on a corner, I side scrape until the opponent in front of me is dead, and I repeat. Here I'm doing a little bit of jiggle. I'm keeping my armor angled properly. This might be a 60-degree angle, I'm not quite sure. I try to put the gun barrel of the E75 over the top corner of the deck. So the face of the tank that is facing up, it's like a rectangle. So I try to place the gun barrel over that corner of the top of the tank, and that indicates to me that I'm angling at the proper angle. And see, again, he just takes my track off. So that was 3 shots that I was able to get into him for free. So I'm thanking this AMX-50B because he's here with me. I'm happy to have him. And I come around the corner. This guy, we just happened to push at the same time. I got a little lucky there, but that's what being in these good positions can do for you. So that's a big tank. That's a big gun. He can do like 1,100 damage to me in one shot. I'm not about to peek the same place twice. I'm also not about to drive around with my armor not angled. So I angle my armor, I zoom in, I see what I can do. The Tiger Mouse is just fired, so I'm not worried about him. And, you know, I could have penetrated those concrete tubes that were in the way of the Tiger Mouse's lower plate. But I just got unlucky and hit the upper plate. It happens. So now we're just kind of, we're taking advantage of the position that we've gained. I see that guy, and I'm like, there's no way. So I take a risky shot, and I pay for it. But that taught me everything I need to know about peeking that corner. So I'm going to reposition. I'm going to go to another corner. Now, I'm not just going to sit on that corner and try to bait shots, because if I'm pixel peeking and they're doing damage to me, I need to go somewhere else because this is not a good position for me. So I also don't get in this AMX-50B's way. However, I'm also not going to be a wimp and not poke my head out because he's not with me. He's obviously probably reloading. I get a little bit lucky here because there's no tank destroyers on that corner still. Well, I guess I don't land that shot. I thought I did. But so there's no tank destroyers on this corner. If there was a single tank destroyer around that corner, I would have gotten toasted. But you know, sometimes a little bit of luck is what it takes. And I could have tanked a shot from some tank destroyers if they had been on that corner. And now, like, I have made it up into the enemy's face. We are winning 2-1, and then all of a sudden a switch flips, and our team realizes that we're fighting over these scraps now. Instead of trying to win the position, the game is absolutely won, no question. So now it's just a debate of who's going to get the last damage. I was kind of laughing to myself. I was like, well, thanks. You're welcome for telling you it's safe to move in, guys. And, you know, it just, that is what the game is. And the rest of this game is a cleanup job. But it was so soon after the first game that this game happened that I had to make a video because I thought I might have been onto something. Now, I'm only like a 5,200 rated player, which means I win about 50%. I think average World of Tanks players wins like, you know what, I'm not even going to say because I don't know. But I'm better than, I think, 60% of the player base. So if you're looking to just start thinking tactically and strategically and playing to your tank's strengths, you can start winning 5% more games. You know, it's not rocket science. It's also not glorious. So you kind of have to do the dirty work, which ends up being lucrative because all the tanks in the middle that weren't flanking were just pixel peeking, and they would get a shot in here and there. I did 1,800 damage with half a thousand spotting, basically with very little effort. If I had met more resistance, it probably would have gone differently. I wouldn't have made it into that middle position so quickly. But if you notice that teams over the course of a couple of games, you start noticing where the heavy tanks go, where they pool up. Some maps don't have those little pockets, like these little guys right here. Some of them have just a straight shot, like a river almost between the two heavy flanks, and it's a little bit different to play on that. You kind of have to just get stuck in, but you know it's just a matter of knowing the map. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. Please like, share, favorite, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.